Should you spend your time updating your old blog posts? Is it worth your time and effort to look through them and make changes to them in the first place? Hi, I'm Clarice Lin, the ROI doctor who helps businesses and e-commerce businesses to get on Google and YouTube page 1. So today's topic is about updating old blog posts. So usually I'll recommend clients to spend some time each year updating their blog posts if they can, and they always wonder what's the purpose of doing that and how is it going to help them in their business. First things first, yes, you should absolutely be updating your old blog posts. Let's look at it this way. So if you are publishing a weekly blog post, that's 4 blog posts per month. In 6 months' time, you will have 24 blog posts, and in 12 months' time, you would likely have 48 blog posts. That's a good number of blog posts that you have. However, depending on your industry itself, things might have changed. There could have been new news, or there are other competitors who have started to outrank you in some of your blog posts. So that's a good time for you to review those blog posts and then to spend time deciding if you want to make any changes or improve on it so you can get better ranking. Instead of doing it in a haphazard manner, I would highly recommend you to dedicate a portion of your time looking through the list of blog posts, looking at the content, and decide which are the ones you can spend some time on to improve on it. Why is it important to refresh old blog posts versus writing a new one completely from scratch? When you write a new blog post, for a really good, outstanding blog post, you need to spend time to do your research, you need to do the picture selection. All of this takes time. Usually, a very good blog post takes about 3 to 4 hours to produce it, and that's only for the average. So for very good blog posts, some people might take even longer. If you are including your own personal research or you have a lot of information that you want to put in, it could take even a longer time, even just to edit, previews, image selection. So that takes a while. However, if you are updating or refreshing your blog posts with latest information and expanding some of those topic ideas that you have in the existing blog posts, the result is when you tell Google that you have an updated blog post, they are likely to give you a boost in Google ranking. When you submit a new blog post to Google from scratch, it basically starts from zero. Google will need to go through all their algorithm checks to see how your blog posts compare to other blog posts. So it would start ranking likely from a lower position, and it might slowly move up to page 1. However, with this old blog post, let's say you're already ranking on page 4 or page 3, you want to give it an added boost to push it to page 1. The amount of effort for you to review that article, to research on what other subtopics you can include to make it an even better, outstanding blog post, the effort is low. However, the chances of you pushing it to page 1 is very high. So that low effort, high return. You get higher return. So when you're on page 1, it means more people are likely to find it. You're more likely to get prospects finding your article, contacting you, and becoming your customer. Another very important reason is that Google loves fresh content. That means when you spend time refreshing your article, you republish it, there's a latest date to it that Google will scan your website, and when they see this latest date attached to your article, they will think, right, this is an updated article, it has just been recently refreshed with new information, it's more likely to be accurate, and then they will more likely show your blog posts over choosing your competitor's blog posts. And if you want to learn a little bit more about how to create A+ blog post that gets you on page 1, you can check out my other video right over here. So I'm going to put the link down below, so that's going to really help you. So you need to take a look at that. Now, if you're convinced that you should be refreshing your blog post, the next question you might be asking is, what should I be updating? Which blog post should I be updating? Should I be updating everything? Or how do I identify which blog post to spend more time refreshing on? So there are 3 things that you can use as a checker to decide which blog post that you want to update. Indicator number 1, if you have a particular year or date focus with your article itself, you can look at your article, look at your blog post title of anything that has 2020, 2019, you want to update to 2021, you can do that. So anyone who is searching for it in 2021 will be able to find your latest article. So for example, last year I published a blog post, beginner guide about Instagram marketing, the beginner's guide for 2020. Since then, there has been a lot of features updates with Instagram itself. There are new features, algorithm has changed. So in this case, I've actually spent some time reviewing the article, and any date reference to 2020, I've updated in 2021. And because they also had an updated Instagram interface itself, I had to do new screenshots to update into my blog post. So it will remain relevant for anyone who is searching for a beginner's Instagram guide in 2021. You can check out there below. I'm going to share the link to that guide. So the second thing to look out for is to go to your Google Analytics, your analytics information on how many visits you are getting from Google to your blog post. If there's a dip in users coming to visit your blog post. By right, if you have a good article on Google, the ranking should ideally be improving over time and you should be getting more traffic as it ascends Google ranking. However, if someone or one of your competitors publish an outstanding article that's much better than yours, since then, maybe this article that you have published was maybe a year ago, and since then there have been many competitors and they might have pushed your blog post down to a lower position. So what you need to do is to take a look at those numbers to see how they are faring, and if they are dropping, that's definitely an article you should put it down to work on and to improve on so you can outrank your competitors. So the third thing you should focus on is to search all your blog posts and look at if there are certain topics that has changed or more research accurate information that has evolved over the last 12 months. So basically for myself, because I help businesses and e-commerce businesses to get on YouTube and Google page 1, so there's a lot of marketing trends in 2021. There are some feature changes for certain tool, algorithm changes. So what I usually do is to take a note of all those things that have changed over the last 12 months, and I look at my repository of the blog posts and review those blog posts that talks about the topics that has gone through some changes. So in this case, if there's a latest research that's coming in, or there's a new tool, or there's a new customer survey information, stats that you can add in to enhance your existing article, so that should be the one article you need to work on. So I've covered 3 areas where you can identify blog posts to spend time polishing up on. So the next point I'm covering is a word of caution. There are a couple of things that you should leave them intact. So for example, if you are updating your blog post, you decide, oh, I want the title to be changed. So maybe you've made some tweaks to your blog post title. However, you want to make sure that the keywords that you want to be ranking for still remains in the title. Don't change it. It's one of the critical points that you want to have the keywords and key phrases in your blog post title itself. So don't make any dramatic changes by removing those keywords. And the other part is don't change your URL, your link to your blog post. What Google does is they link each unique URL to your blog post ID. When you change your blog post link, they will think immediately that this is an entire new blog post altogether, which means that your ranking would have to start from 0. So from getting a lot of Google traffic, it might go down to 0. Most people change their URL without realizing that this could hurt their Google ranking. So after they make the changes, they realize there is a drop and they're wondering what happened. So heads up, don't change your URL unless it's absolutely critical. Otherwise, just leave it as it is so you will be fine. Another thing you can actually add in your blog post refresh is to link out to new statistics or research studies so you can update those links. And if there are certain resources that you have been linking out to in the first place that has been removed by the owner, so now it's an error page, make sure to remove that, because when you are linking to a 404 error page to Google, it's putting a negative point to your blog post itself. So that's another thing to be looking out for. Once you're done with all the updates, you have the latest information, everything is all good, you know this is a much better blog post than before, it's time to click on the save button and update the blog post. So once you have done that, what you can also do is to go to your Google Search Console setup. If you haven't, you should definitely do that. To tell Google that you have an updated blog post here, they should update their copy on their server so they can show the latest information you have here to the Google users. And of course, when they do that, they're also going to run your latest blog post through their algorithm, and that's going to help them to decide if your blog post is much better than what exists on the internet. Once Google has been updated, the next thing that most people forget about is to repromote your blog post. Now that your blog post is much better than before, it's more relevant, yes, all the latest information and details that didn't exist before, now is the time to tell everyone to read that blog post. Remember to send it to your email list if you have an email list for subscribers. Tell them what information to check out, what's new in this blog post, why they should definitely read it, bookmark it, and share with their friends or anyone who needs this piece of information. And as well, remember to put it on social media. Shout out to everyone, tell them that you have something new there and they should check it out because it's very much relevant to today, and this is the best solution that they can find on the internet. By doing that, it's also another indicator to Google when you have more visit to that particular blog post that this is a good blog post that many people are reading. And that's all for today's video. Remember to schedule in a couple of days, maybe even half a week to review those blog posts and republish them, and also re-promoting those blog posts. Instead of writing a couple of new blog posts from scratch, you're going to see much higher returns on those. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Do you spend time updating old blog posts? How much time do you spend refreshing your blog posts every year or every 6 months if you have a huge repository of blog posts? And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos like this. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!